Hi everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to show you tricks on how I bind my books. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but these are things that have helped me and hopefully they'll help you. So I know having a book cradle really helps, but they're kind of expensive and I just can't afford that. So I don't do that. So instead, I have a book. This is just a really old dictionary. I open it up and use this as my cradle. So what I like to do, and I have 3 books that I'm going to bind. So I like to make sure all of these pages are where I want them. This one has and I try to make sure that they're upright. So like this would be better. This is upside down, so I need to make sure I have that flipped the other way. Oh, wait, I got it. Apparently I'm totally off. Where's that page? Okay, so we're gonna flip this one back around and we're gonna completely flip all of these over. Now they should be right. So this has scrapbook paper and the digital kit that I showed you guys for this journal. I just kind of mix and matched them up. So I'll link below the digitals. I don't remember the name offhand of who, so, but I go through and make sure these are all the way I want them. And make sure like my center is where I want, make sure this is even where I want. Let's see, what is my center? There's my center. I love that page. All right. So, and then I know this looks weird. I tap them down and I take my fingers where I go where the center is and I kind of just squish them from here. So sometimes I'll take my bone folder, and I do this just because if you look, hold on, let me get this. Okay, if you look at these, there's big gaps in between these holes. So I do this to try and get them all kind of together easier, you know, so there's not some big coverage. So I just take it and kind of squish, but do it gently so I'm not ripping these pages. You could take a, really whatever you want to do that. I just realized I want something decorative out here. Okay, so I want a prettier picture up here. So I think what I'm going to do is let's take this one. This should work. We're just going to set that right there. All right. Now I'm going to take my bone folder and just crease this. It's good to crease each page or each 2 or 3 pages. It just varies. So once I have all that done, what I do is I put this in here where I want it, and I use binder clips, and I'm going to just bind these, sorry, let's bind them. Actually, we want that a little further down. There we go. All right. And yeah, they don't fit as well but that's okay. I also put them on the bottom, which gives it a little bit more, fits a little bit better. And I try to do it while it's bent, because I find I have a better control of putting the needle through when I have this bent. So here we go. Now, as for my template, basically, this isn't quite that size. Let's make another one so I can show you guys exactly how I do that. Just gonna rip this part. I'm gonna fold this up. And we want this the length of these papers, so we are going to be cutting a tad off. Oh, what did the cat knock over my pen? There it is. My cat has gotten on the habit of going onto my desk and seeing what he can knock off. He's been knocking everything off. Or he'll grab it and run. Run out of this room. Okay, so I do a 3 pamphlet stitch. So the way I mark those is I just fold that in half, give that a good crease, fold that in half, give that a good crease, and then fold that one down. And there we go. So now when you open it, you have your 3 slots. So I will put that right in there, and I hold this up when I'm punching. Grab my needle, and I just poke holes in all 3 of those little sections. And then go all the way down. So you do not want to do this with a book that you like, because you wind up with holes in them. Okay, so next I pick a thread, which we'll probably just go with this for all 3 of them. Although I think we're going to go with black for that one. I grab my needle. I have different size needles. I try to, when I'm doing them, I try to do needles that aren't so thick. Some needles, these tips are, these ones are the same, but this one's a tad bit thicker, if you can see that. So I really try hard not to go with a thick needle, because I don't like big, huge hunking holes that the needles can cause. 1, 2, 3, and I do the length of 3 for this. And let's get this in there. Okay, then up. Sorry about the cat. No, this is not for you. Get down. You either go lay back down or get down. This is not yours. Go down. He was laying nicely. And then when I started pulling this out, now he's looking at me like, oh. Okay, so I take this out, and now we have all these holes. So I go in the middle first, and I keep this bent. I noticed that I do better when it's bent. So you want to make sure you don't pull this thread all the way through. Then I go through the bottom. Here he comes. Then I go back through the top. And now I hit the point where all of these are, that's going to be fine. So I take all of these binding strips off. You cannot have these. Here, have that. You can play with that. Okay, and then what I do is I pull this down because you don't want your needle to puncture and go through this. So I hold that down. I take my needle and I go straight through. And see how I have this folded? I've noticed that's always been the easiest way for me to do it. And you want these, see how these are on the same? You want these on opposite. So you put that on the other side. You kind of do a little pull. At this time, I take my needle out and I make sure these are taut. These are, which they can be a little tighter. So I pull that a little bit more. You don't want to pull too much because I have had pages rip. And then I just do a double knot. And this is where if I want dangles on here, I will put them. And I do 2 to 3 knots just cause. And there we go. One book bound. And these are pretty tight. So, you know, this doesn't move very easily, which is good. And then I would trim them really short if I didn't want dangles, but I do have dangles somewhere. I just bought more stuff for that. So, no, get off the book, Luke. Thank you. So, one down. No, those aren't for you. Do I need to lock you out of this room while I finish filming? Get down. Apparently I do. I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that. He is now sleeping with his sister on the chair, so hopefully he will not come and attack the thread again. Oh, he's crazy. So, we have, just kind of making sure that these are all, you know, lined up the way I want them. And which looks good. Okay, and now I'm just going to take my binder clips again and bind them. Okay, so we're going to take our thread and remember we do about 3. Now this is a, I'll link the down below, but I got this kit that came with my awl, wherever that wound up going. Okay, came with the awl, came with these 3 threads and some needles. There might be more, I don't remember, but that's about what it came with. So now we're gonna stick this in here, and while it's down here, I'm just gonna squish this in because I didn't do that with the last one before you put the clips on. Okay, so I'm gonna hold mine up, make sure it's right where I want it, move that down just a little, and just poke through. There's tons of different ways to do this. I just find this is the easiest way for me. So there's a lot of people do it differently. So I go through, I go up, and let's see if I can get that. There we go. Then I go up this way, and then I hold this down and I kind of give these a little tug, and I go through in hopes to not snag that. And that didn't go all the way through. Okay. Keep getting it, but getting it on this page. I'm not getting this last page. Oh, so frustrating. There we go. Okay. So I like these on opposite. I pull. Don't need that anymore. And if, like what I just did with this, so I did it where this was really up too high, so I just kind of moved it, and now I'm going to tighten it so it will stay in place. There we go. And see, those are really loose. Okay. Now I just tie it. I like to do 3 knots. You can get away with 2. I would not recommend just doing 1. And there is that. Okay, now 1 more to go. Now I'm going to do black with this one, or maybe this brown. Well, let's do the brown. Okay. One, 2, 3. And I do sometimes just do a little bit more. All right, let's get this threaded. And now I want to make sure these are all to where I want them, because we do have, oh, don't need that in there. Here we go. These are all pretty even. Okay, so I'm going to stick that right in there, and now that I know these are even, I'm going to squish that in there. And, whoops, go. Oh, come on. Okay. I'm just kind of squishing that in there again. get my sample. Here we go, and stick through. And it will still go through, even though this is a fabric cover, it'll still go through just as easy. Alright, so now again, go through this hole and then keep it partially closed. There. For some reason this is not wanting to. There we go. Like, wait, it's not going through right. Now we're going to go through this hole. I notice that if I'm doing it with it being like closed, I can get through it better than when it's open. Have a hard time when it's open. Okay, now I'm gonna pack all these up because we are done with those. Alright, now we just need to go through this last hole, and again I am pulling this right here and pulling that down and going through the hole in the top. Hopefully you guys can see that. That way hopefully I don't get into that thread. Then we just alright. I'm just going to put these away really quick. And make sure that gets pulled. And that is nice and tight. I redid my charms because they were driving me nuts being like that. I wanted them more separated. Trying to find where I put them. There are some really cute fall ones. Just put them where where the cats couldn't find it. Hold on. Okay, so apparently by hiding it from the cats, I hid them from myself because I have no idea where they're at. I wound up putting my charms in little containers, little plastic bags. So I'll hunt them down eventually. Anyways, I hope you like this, and I hope this will be easier for you to get some. I think I have this upside down. Oh well. Well, maybe not. Anyways, I hope this makes it a little easier for you to bind your books. I just found this way a lot easier for me, and thought I'd share it. Hope you guys have a wonderful day and keep crafting, and know that you guys are great. See you next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye.